Hello, welcome to Red Ted Art. First things first, subscribe to the channel. Now, these are mini no-bake gingerbread houses. Can you see in here we've got some little gummy bears. They're like Hansel and Gretel in the story, and they're super cute, super fun to make, brilliant for play dates, and obviously no baking. So some years we do like to make big gingerbread houses, but unfortunately we don't have time for that every year. And the years that we don't have time to make big gingerbread houses, we love to make these mini ones. But they're also really good for if you're having a Christmas party, then these are a really nice activity and the kids can take these home. So to make our gingerbread house, this is what we use, but obviously find what you've got in your country. And for example, these are chocolate covered biscuits, but you can find these butter biscuits without the chocolate. So if you want to make them a little bit less sweet and a little bit less decadent, you can just buy plain biscuits and use those, but we like the chocolate ones. Also, we've used like a caramel slice that the local supermarket has, but the original ones, this is to help prop up the whole house, but you can use Lebkuchen, so that's like a gingerbread from Germany, or you could use a little granola bar cut into squares. So again, just be adventurous, or see what you can find to kind of make your houses. So it's really about what you can find in your area. Now, first things first, I'm just looking what I need to do. You will need icing sugar. So I just use ordinary icing sugar. Now there's no exact measures, as with a lot of my activities, I kind of make it up as I go along. So I've put some in here. I would say this is probably a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons. And now I'm going to just put a little bit of water. Now the key with this activity is to not get your icing sugar too wet, because if it's too wet, it'll run and it'll make it'll be really hard to get everything to stay on. Now this, for example, is a bit too runny, which is fine. Don't panic. I'm just going to add another tablespoon or so of icing sugar. You could also, if you want, you can experiment with things like adding flavours. So you could maybe put a little bit of lemon in your icing, a bit of orange, just see what you want to make it a bit more Christmassy. Although I think plain's probably quite good. Now this is better. So I don't know if you can see, you can sort of see little stringy bits when you stir it. But you know what, I'm going to put a tiny bit more icing on, because you'll see it does run all over the place and then it gets really hard. Oh, and I'm getting icing all over my table. Right, so this is nice and thick. This is great. Have a good mix. There we go. So can you see it's got sort of, it doesn't run too much when you're actually using it. So the first thing you want to do is assemble your biscuits. I'm going to get another plate. Take my first biscuit and put it on the bottom, like so. I want to make sure you can see everything. So it's nice to have a look at all the things. Oh, and sorry, I've got a big mix of sprinkles and some marshmallows, some sweeties. Again, it's all about what you can find. So I'm going to take my icing sugar. Sometimes you might use 2 spoons because I've made it super thick now. So I'm going to use a second spoon to get it on here to stick down your square. Now, like I said, this square is there to help prop up the cookies. Now I'm going to get some more icing. Ta-da, put it in a frame. I'm very good at going off frame sometimes, aren't I? Just one side, stick it and lean it. If you want, you can put a little bit of icing here. In fact, I'll do it so you can see. And that'll help secure it into place, like that. Take your second cookie. Now this time I'm going to put icing at the top and the bottom. Now, when I make these with my kids, we do it all in one go. So basically we assemble the house and we add all the sweets at the same time. But if you're doing this for say an activity like a Christmas do, and you've got lots and lots of people, lots and lots of children, you might want to assemble your houses beforehand, like I'm doing now. Let the icing set a little bit, and then add your treat. So for example, here's one I did earlier. This is all set and ready to go. And it just means that when you're doing all the sweets, it's less likely to slide around. Now, if you are doing it, I'm going to do the drying version, the wet version, just so you can see that, you know, it does work. Here's the other house so you can see it a little bit. And then what I do is, as I go along, is I just keep pushing this together to make sure it stays. So you've got your basic shape. Now I'm going to take my gummy bears. I do like the gummy bears as a cute little detail. If you can't find gummy bears, you know, have a look at what else you can find. So I'm going to stick my gummy bears there. Also, in the past, we've had some little like heart gummies, and they look really sweet as well. So my gummy bears are in place. Now I've got my marshmallows. I'm going to create a little decoration at the top. You don't have to use marshmallows, but we like them. And also, I have to say, the smaller the treats or sweets you can find, the better. Rather than if they're too big, they will start falling off, which is why I really like these sprinkles, because these are slightly larger sprinkles than usual. Oops. But they're small enough that they don't create too much chaos on my treat. So I get some sprinkles out. So again, if you're doing this in a group, you'd want the sprinkles out already on different plates. So start with those. Now, the icing will run, but you want it to run because then it looks like snow. Okay, so can you see I'm just giving it a good squeeze here to make sure that it stays together. And maybe I've actually done my icing a bit thicker today and it won't run. Who knows? We'll see when we start adding the sweets. I always think, oh, I've got the icing just right this time, and then it does start going all over the place. But that's half the fun, and you want it kind of to look like icicles, you know, like when you have a big gingerbread house. So here we go. Now give it a little squeeze to hold it all in place, because like I say, it will start running, and you do want to do it on a plate because there will be bits dropping off. And now you just have fun with your decorations. You can fast forward to the end if you want and see how it looked, because this is the fun bit. Now my kids, when I first made them, were really young, and obviously we just went and dumped loads of stuff on. Now they kind of like to look where it's all going, and it's a bit neater, but to be honest, it doesn't matter. It's really about what you like. Now what I quite like doing is, where my little gummy bears, stick some on there as well. Because that looks quite sweet. And look, that's starting to drip, which to be honest, I want it to drip because I want that snowy effect. Now, the biscuits are still, you see, quite wobbly. Don't know if you can see that. So you just have to be careful and gentle, but also don't panic. If it does fall apart, just gently pull it back together again. Right. I really like those balls. I'm going to get some more of those out. These are my favourite. I just happened to find these in one of the supermarkets, and I think they're perfect for this. But you can also use, you know, normal hundreds and thousands, normal sprinkles. I try not to put big sweets like you would put on a big gingerbread house, because they'll probably just fall off. And there you go. So maybe put a little star on top. Add a bit of icing, because I want to be able to see the stars. Now I'm going to put a little bit, so you can see this side is running, this side is not running so much, so I just want to add a little line of snow, add a little line of snow. On this one, when I made these ones earlier, it just did all the icing by itself, so I kind of just went with the pattern that the icing went. Now, if you're doing these with kids or not doing it at a party, what we also like to do is place the finished item on a card like here, and then I've got these plastic bags, and you can put them in a little bag, tie them up, and they make really cute gifts. So that's also an idea of why to make these and what to do with them. Right, I think this one's almost ready, and that means I get to go and decorate the last one. There we go. I think I'm going to leave it at that. Maybe add a tiny bit of icing here, just to kind of make sure it's white. There we go. There we go. It's very, very, let's just add a couple more type activity. Right, and there you have your drying mini no-bake gingerbread house. And they look really, really sweet and make lovely little gifts and a great little activity. So I hope you liked making or seeing me make these gingerbread houses and that you do have a go. Now don't forget to subscribe to Red Ted Art and hopefully we'll see you here again soon. Bye!